Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have put their search on hold for a new manager after being impressed by interim manager Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December. Ralph Rangnick has had 5 wins from 8 league games. He's lost just 1 game so far. Rangnick has managed 10 games in all competitions so far, and he's progressed Manchester United to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Rangnick has been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 2 months. If Rangnick can get Manchester United a top 4 finish this season, there's a good chance that Manchester United will offer him the job on a permanent basis. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then it did say he will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. There's been good performances under Rangnick. There's also been poor performances as well. Reflecting on the win against West Ham recently, that was the first time Manchester United had won back-to-back games under Rangnick. Got to give Rangnick credit, he has made changes since he's come in. Obviously earlier on this season he brought Ewan Sharp in as an assistant coach and analyst. He also brought Chris Armas in as an assistant coach, and he brought Saz Challens in as a sports psychologist. Revert back to earlier on this season, there was reports coming out saying that Rangnick was already under pressure at Man United, and he said that he was already losing the dressing room and 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. But despite that, earlier on this month, Rangnick got told that transfer funds are available for him and he will be backed by the Glazers. Manchester United obviously changed formation under Rangnick. Obviously the new formation we've got is the 4-3-3. That formation seems to suit our standards under Rangnick. Rangnick of course scrapped the 4-2-2 formation because quite clearly that formation wasn't working. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. He said that he will receive a £500,000 bonus if he leads Manchester United to a top 4 finish. Rangnick earns £180,000 a week. As you all know, Mauricio Pochettino has been relentlessly linked with a permanent role at Man United. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho, Manchester United should have got Pochettino, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Pochettino is the PSG manager. I think he's got like a year and a half left on his contract. He's won a French Cup with PSG. He's a good manager even though he's hardly won anything. He's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial because before Pochettino endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Back in 2018, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, and at one point when he was Tottenham manager, he almost won the league. Before Tottenham, he managed Southampton. He only enjoyed a short managerial tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far. Before then, he managed Espanyol. Eric Tenhack, there's been talks about him becoming Man United's next permanent manager. Well, Rangnick actually said he wants Eric Tenhack to be Man United's new manager in the summer. A lot of Manchester United fans would take Eric Tenhack. You've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals, and I like the way he develops young players. He's been Ajax manager for 5 years. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. Manchester United have sat 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. We sat David Moyes after 10 months. Then we sat Louis van Gaal after 2 years. Manchester United did win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. Then Manchester United sat Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. But the reasons it didn't work out under him is because he had bad disputes with the board, because the board didn't recommend the players he wanted to get in, and he had bad disputes with the top players. And last year, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Solskjaer's final game as Man United manager was the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Like I say, Manchester United have not been the same team since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. No one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, and we've got to accept that in that aspect. Ferguson, greatest manager of all time. He brought success to Manchester United. He won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Good job we didn't sack Ferguson in that 4 years where he didn't win anything, or wouldn't have had any success now. Ferguson was at Manchester United for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reasons he did that is because they're both Scottish and Ferguson had a lot of time for Moyes. Since Ferguson retired, Man United must have spent around 1.2 billion. We've brought over 40-odd players in since Ferguson retired. And let me put into the equation, none of this team is Rangnick. Rangnick is inheriting players who other managers brought in. Ed Woodward, obviously he's been one of the biggest issues at the club for several years. Well, he's stepping down at Manchester United at the end of this month, which is good news from a Man United perspective. Ed Woodward's had a 17-year association at the club. Richard Arnold is replacing Ed Woodward as the chief executive on the 1st of February. You've got to say the Glazers, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. revert back to April last year. Manchester United fans were protesting against the Glazers, at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford, because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. But in the end, obviously, the European Super League didn't go ahead because too many were against it, and I think the Glazers did apologise. Well, at the time, Ollie said that they'd apologised when he was Man United manager. Towards the end of last season, there was rumours saying that, the Glazers wanted £4 billion to sell the club. The Glazers have owned Manchester United for around 16 and a half years now. They bought the club for £500 million back in 2005. Now anyway, it's not long now until the January transfer window closes. Are Manchester United going to offload Lingard and Donny van de Beek in this window? Now, yesterday I give you the news on Jesse Lingard. It said Jesse Lingard's move to Newcastle is on the verge of collapsing because Manchester United are demanding a loan fee of £15 million. And it says Manchester United value Jesse Lingard at £50 million. Yesterday, Ralph Rangnick confirmed that Jesse Lingard will leave Man United in the summer on TikTok. Rangnick had a conversation with a fan. I've been hearing that Lingard rejected an approach from Everton and West Ham want to re-sign him at the second half of last season. Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard's out of contract at Man United in the summer. He doesn't get in our team, but he has been part of the club for a long time. And as you all know, Manchester United will allow Donny van de Beek to go out on loan this month, but any loan move will not include an option to buy, as Manchester United intend on keeping Van de Beek next season. Now, Crystal Palace want Donny van de Beek on loan. They've been in talks with Man United about getting him on loan. Fabrizio Romano said the other day that Crystal Palace submitted an offer to sign Donny van de Beek on loan. Manchester United want Donny van de Beek's full wages paid. Earlier on this season, it did say Donny van de Beek is not allowed to leave the club. Don't forget, earlier on this season, he had a bust-up with his agent. You can't blame Van de Beek for wanting to leave, though. He hasn't been given enough opportunities under Rangnick, and he didn't get enough opportunities under Solskjaer. Van de Beek's only managed to score 2 goals for the club. He's been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years. Manchester United got Van de Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. We paid 35 million up front and there was 5 million in add-ons. We got him from Ajax. He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. As you all know, Anthony Martial left Manchester United. Martial has gone to Sevilla on loan until the end of the season. Obviously, Sevilla didn't pay a loan fee and there's no option to buy. but Sevilla are paying Martial's full wages until June. I think Martial will do well for Sevilla, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think most of Man United's outgoings will come in the summer. There may be one or two more in this January transfer window, but most of them will come in the summer, like I say. Edison Cavani, I think he'll probably leave in the summer. Because revert back to earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick did say that Cavani wants to stay at Man United until the end of the season. Cavani's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Cavani recently came on in the 1-0 win against West Ham and he got the assist for Rashford's winning goal. There was a lot of people saying that Cavani was offside. Cavani had a minor injury not so long ago. He had a couple of injuries earlier on this season. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Last year was linked with Barcelona. It said Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Barcelona was seeing him as a replacement for Aguero because Aguero retired due to heart problems. Juventus went in for him, and last year Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Juan Mata, I think he's also leaving the club this year. Juan Mata's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Revert back to last year, Man United extended Mata's contract for a further year. Mata lost his place in the team a while ago, plus he's ageing up and he's lost that yard of pace, but despite all of that, he's had a good career at Manchester United. He's made 276 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. And he's been at Man United for 8 years, so he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. We paid £37.1 million. I'm hearing that Man United are going to be loaning Amad Diallo out as well. Matic, he'll also leave the club as well this year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Matic is only the predominant centre defensive midfielder that Man United have got. I've always had my reservations about Matic because he's always been a static midfielder, plus he's aging up, but despite that he's had his good games at Man United. Matic is out of contract at the club in the summer. He's been at Man United since 2017. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea for £40 million. Paul Pogba, there's a good chance that he'll be departing the club in the summer. Pogba's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Revert back to the other month, the Sun said that Manchester United offered Paul Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract. That would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history, but Pogba actually came out and denied that he'd been offered that contract. Earlier on in the season, Pogba apparently told Manchester United he wants to join Real Madrid in the summer. There again it said PSG was the most likely destination for Pogba. Pogba did hold talks with PSG. Pogba is set to return to action after this international break. He was out with injury for a while. Revert back towards the start of the season when he was fit. He was in scintillating form. This season is his 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. He's played 212 games and he's scored 38 times. Manchester United paid £89 million for Paul Pogba, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. Jones and Bailly, they'll also leave the club as well this year. Jones, of course, doesn't get in the team. Jones played in the game against Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season because Maguire picked up an injury, and Jones was our best performer against Wolves. It was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. At one point, Jones was out with a knee injury for a while. Did you know that Jones is only the outfield player that's still at Manchester United since the Sir Alex Ferguson era? This season is his 11th season at Man United, so he's been a long-serving player. And Eric Bailly, he doesn't really get in the team. He's been at the African Cup of Nations. And Dean Henderson, Manchester United will look to get rid of him permanently. Will Manchester United make a signing in this January transfer window? We've not yet made a signing under Rangnick. Manchester United want a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. There's been a lot of narratives coming out about Boubacar Kamara recently. Sky Sports have mentioned that Manchester United are the favourites to sign Boubacar Kamara. Marseille want just £10 million. Boubacar Kamara wants in the region of £150,000 a week if he's to depart Marseille this month. His contract at Marseille expires at the end of the season. He's 22 years of age, predominantly a defensive midfielder, but can be deployed as a centre-back. He's been a very long-serving player at Marseille. He's been at Marseille for 17 years, came up their academy. He joined their academy back in 2005, and since he broke into Marseille's senior squad, he's made over 100 appearances. Man United are still in for Ruben Neves from Wolves. Arsenal are also interested in him. I'd take Ruben Neves at Manchester United in a heartbeat. I really, really would. He's been a revelation for Wolves and he's well proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial. Ruben Neves has been at Wolves since 2017, so he's been with them for around 5 years now. Wolves paid £15.8 million for him from Porto. Ruben Neves played very well against us at Old Trafford earlier on this season. He had that very good chance from the volley but produced a good save from De Gea. Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Dennis Zakaria from Borussia Mönchengladbach. We've also been in for Amadou Haidara from RB Leipzig. Obviously Rangnick knows Amadou Haidara well, which is beneficial. Earlier on this season, Rangnick said that he wanted Amadou Haidara as his first signing as Man United manager. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham have been long-term targets for Man United. To be honest with you, I can't see us making a signing in this transfer window. Now, Manchester United's next game is Middlesbrough in the FA Cup 4th round. It is at Old Trafford. It's the 4th of February. Like I said, Manchester United progressed to the 4th round of the FA Cup by beating Aston Villa 1-0 in the 3rd round. Manchester United will be going into the game against Middlesbrough, having won their last 2 games. I'm expecting Rangnick to rotate for the game against Middlesbrough in the Cup. Middlesbrough, they got to the 4th round of the FA Cup by beating Mansfield in the 3rd round. Obviously, Middlesbrough are in the Championship. Their manager is Chris Wilder. Middlesbrough appointed Chris Wilder in last year to replace Neil Warnock because Neil Warnock got sacked. Chris Wilder, has managed quite a few clubs in his managerial career. So far, before he was at Middlesbrough, he was at Sheffield United. I remember when he was in the Premier League with Sheffield United, Chris Wilder. Before then he managed Northampton, before then he managed Oxford, before then he managed Halifax, and before then he managed Alfred Town. And I think he also at one point was an assistant at Bury. I do know quite a few of the players that Middlesbrough have got. Obviously they've got Aaron Connolly, he's a forward. They've got Andres Sporer, I think he's a forward. They've got Isaiah Jones. They've got Josh Coburn. They've got Riley McGree. They've got Johnny Howson. They've got Neela Taylor, Matt Crooks, Paddy McNair. They've got Mark Boller. Mark Boller's actually out with injury at the moment. They've got Marcus Brown. He's also out with injury. So yeah, they are quite a few of the players that Middlesbrough have got. The last time Manchester United played Middlesbrough was back in March 2017. Man United won that game 3-1. So like I say, Manchester United should be getting to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Our next league game is Burnley. That's the 8th of February. And like I said yesterday, Manchester United's postponed game with Brighton has been rearranged to next month, Tuesday the 15th of February. Man United were supposed to play Brighton in December last year, but obviously the game got postponed due to COVID. And obviously, the news on Cristiano Ronaldo. El Nacional said the other day that Cristiano Ronaldo wants Real Madrid return. Don't forget, before Ronaldo endured like 9.5 years at Real Madrid, that's before he went to Juventus. And Ronaldo's asked his agent, Jorge Mendes, to find him another club because he's not happy at Manchester United. He said that Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. Well, it said Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo's had a few injuries as well since he re-signed for the club. He just recovered from a neck injury not so long ago. Ronaldo obviously played in the 1-0 win against West Ham and he did very well, to be fair. Could have won a penalty in the first half and he played a part in Rashford's winning goal. Don't forget, Ronaldo was furious for being substituted against Brentford, but Ralph Rangnick defended his decision to substitute Ronaldo against Brentford. Because obviously prior to the Brentford game, Ronaldo missed the last 2 games due to injury. A couple of weeks ago now, was it, Ronaldo gave an interview and he was very critical of the youngsters. So he's demanding more from the youngsters, and he also said Ralph Rangnick will do a good job at Man United, and he also said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.